episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss and ask, should the Bulls be looking into a James Harden trade? COby White's also been cooking in program, and do the Bulls actually believe that Lonzo Ball is done? There's a new report that may point to the Bulls believing that. So we'll get into all that and more right after this. James Harden.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. And this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On today to get started. Pat, another day, another stupid Bulls rumor, because I can't stand. I've said it before over on Chicago Bulls Central. I'm going to say the edited version here. Some Chicago Bulls fans are so thirsty that they are literally willing to drink anything. And I said something yellow over on Chicago Bulls Central to satiate their thirst for this team to be a monochrome of success. Now, there's a lot of rumors going on. James Harden, a lot of talk. I'm sure diehard Chicago Bulls with his terrible page decided to probably post it as well. What do you feel about the conversation and talk around James Harden and the Chicago Bulls?
I'm just trying to see when the fat suit's showing up. You know what I mean? I'm trying to stay
he's got it
out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. What?
Listen, he's in China right now. The fat suit didn't clear customs, but best believe as soon as he gets off that plane.
I gotta get this out of here. It's weird. A whole blanket in my shirt.
First it was socks. Now why you just got blankets on the side? What are you doing over there, Pat?
It's a nice couch, man. It's a nice couch.
Yeah, okay. So apparently Pat's studio turns into the boom boom room. When the lights are out.
The boom room is crazy. We've been laughing since before we got up on this mud, dog. It's just a good day. Nah, man, listen. James Harden's a good basketball player. That doesn't mean that you have to do anything or move anybody to bring in something that you literally see as turmoil everywhere he's gone. You can't keep blaming everyone else. You just can't. When James Harden was in Houston, he wanted to get out, right? Full blanket under the shirt. When he was in Brooklyn and wanted to get out, all of a sudden, right, there's an issue between him and Kyrie where Kyrie came out and cooked this man, and he just never was able to get respect off of that, right? And now he's in Philly, a city where Daryl Morey, for the second time, gives up everything to go get this guy, but Daryl Morey's the liar. Now, here's the thing. I'm also not saying that Daryl Morey is not a liar.
Did he give up everything though? He gave up Ben Simmons and some extras.
He gave up Ben Simmons and all the pieces on that team that would have made the Philadelphia 76ers probably a championship contender.
Like who?
He gave up all of their depth. They sent Seth Curry over there. They said,
they did get. I forgot about the Seth Curry.
Oh yeah, they sent a lot of people over there. Like it wasn't just like he got rid of. They sent Andre Drummond over there.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot. I really forgot all about that.
So for me, it's one of those situations where at a certain point, what Maya Angelou said, when people tell you who they are, believe them. My big mama said the same thing. My big mama said she said it first. Maya heard it. So when people tell you who they are, believe them, man. And I believe that James Harden is the guy that shows up, wants to win, doesn't win, then doesn't want to be there anymore. And he's trying to get back to the best strip clubs in the city. And I don't want to have that dynamic here in Chicago. At a minimum, I do believe that the Chicago Bulls want to win. I do believe that the Chicago Bulls want to go out there and play better. And even though James Harden coming in here, he's going to be a 10 assist guy. He probably helps you with Zach LaVine. He's probably, like all of those things that you could say are positives for him. The personality is a negative, and the personality sometimes is the one thing you can't fix.
And AK is very particular about bringing in guys with high character. AK doesn't usually make signings with people with bad or questionable characters. And the fact that James Harden, and I see you guys talking in the chat, James Harden absolutely in the last 5 to 6 years has absolutely been a clown. When you look at the fat suit in Houston and get his way out of there, causing drama to get out of Brooklyn. Now,
was it really a fat suit or was he out of shape?
No, he was actually overweight. Did we
ever confirm that it was a fat suit? Because everybody was like, it's a fat suit. And I was like, well, he plays basketball. It's not hard for him to drop 30 pounds in a month.
Exactly. I mean, you never know, bro. Like, he was Kimbo Wedge then, not Slice. He was too wide to be a Slice. He was Wedge. Kimbo Wedge. But yeah, so like there's no way that even if because it can't be DeMar DeRozan for James Harden straight up. They're going to want other assets. There is zero chance AKA Mark Eversley give up any assets for, of all people, James Harden. It's not happening.
No, for sure. And I just don't see a reason to. There's certain play. Listen, James Harden, I'm not going to discredit him as a player. You know, like I'm not going to discredit what he can go out there and do, but you also have to look at what he does in the biggest moments. When you look at his playoff numbers,
we broke it down already.
When you look at his playoff numbers, the playoff numbers on average look great when you're talking about averages. But when you're talking about the game by games, you're talking about he had a 50-point game, a 40-point game.
He had a 42 and a 45-point game that boosted up his stats. Otherwise, it was all sub 20 in the conference semifinal.
Absolutely. And so when you see things like that, right, it's the same conversation when mugs are like, why don't we go get a guy like Chris Middleton? Because Chris Middleton will have 2 games in a row where he'll put up 7 points and then he'll put up 45 on the third game. And we'll be like, oh, what he averaged 30 in the playoffs. No, that's not how basketball works. It's about what you can do on a game-by-game basis. And if you can put up those numbers on a game-by-game basis, and James Harden has proven that even in the regular season at this point, he's not that guy that game by game is going to give you that. Now, from an assist standpoint, he's going to give you that. I would even say, as crazy as it is, from a defensive standpoint over the last couple of years, James Harden has been a much better player than what we saw when he was just putting up 30-something in Houston. And even then, he was leading the NBA in steals. So there are positives to adding a James Harden to this team, but I just don't feel like they outweigh the negatives that have happened on the last 3 spots.
Well, the thing is that James Harden is one of the better regular season players in the NBA, right? That's just, it is what it is. But once the playoff lights are on, if he couldn't get it done with Joel Embiid, if he couldn't get it done with Kyrie and KD, what makes you think he's going to come in here to Chicago and play with Zach LaVine and Patrick Williams, and all of a sudden he's going to get it on there? It's not going to happen.
I think the big thing with the KD Kyrie situation that we can't overlook is James was never healthy there.
Well, right, listen, but that's still another negative.
But he's been healthy last couple of seasons.
Yeah, it is what it is there, bro. Like I get it, and you're not wrong, but like he played 58 games last season. 58.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're talking about, a healthy season for James Harden.
Yeah.
Just put that in perspective.
58 came back by the playoffs, though. You know what I mean? Like, my issue isn't with Harden's play, because I think here's the thing: if I have a Zach LaVine, if Coby White does take a step, I think Billy Donovan will utilize things different, even though Harden was never a part of that. Right? He was gone that year. Yeah, Harden was gone that year when Billy came in. Harden was gone by that. Even though, right, like there was that piece where, right, James Harden can be an asset. I think that he would have to be an asset while everyone else is taking a step. And that leads us back to the same question that we've had the entire offseason, the entire last 3 years of this whole experiment of running it back. When is that next person going to take a step? Because James Harden is going to help Zach LaVine. From an assist standpoint, he's going to be able to find them. Zach's going to have open shots.
I get White that.
Might not. P. Will might not. You know, like I'm still waiting on that. And at the end of the day, I have to question the impact you're going to have. And are you going to be eating wings and at the strip club at 2 a.m.? Nah,
yes.
I can't do that.
Yes, he will. With Mariah Mills. That's the next one up. Like
is Mariah Mills in Chicago?
Oh, let's hope not. Maybe she's going to be at Bulls Fest. You never know. That trollop. With that said, listen, I get it. And when you look at James Harden, 7 3-pointers per game on top of double-digit assists, there's absolutely a basketball conversation to be had as far as James Harden being a better fit in Chicago than DeMar DeRozan. But then you still have to factor in the personal aspect of it. You just do. And also the fact of the matter is the Bulls aren't anywhere close to winning, even if they do add James Harden. And who's to say that a year and a half back on the, hey, I need to get up out of here. Yeah. Nobody has time for that.
No, yeah, 100%. I don't disagree with you. And I got the same questions. I've got the same questions on it. I would be out on James Harden. I think he's a guy that it's tough to say, right? Like, to me, I think the NBA is taking their stand, though. That's why Daryl Morey is having to go through this situation.
Yeah.
Teams feel like, even if I had to have James Harden on my team for free, I'm okay. Because the Clippers basically were like, he opted in once the Clippers basically were like, bro, we don't want you. Like, we don't need you here, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah. Oh, man, listen, all I can say is it's not happening. We ain't got to worry about it. Stop bringing it up. Stop talking about it. Stop getting into arguments about it. Kimbo Wedge will not be in Chicago other than if he comes in with the Clippers to play the Chicago Bulls. But next up, though, we're going to talk about COby White absolutely cooking in a Pro-Am. But before we do that, I got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is FanDuel. Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long. Because right now, when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get bonus bets every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you get bonus bets for every victory. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. All right, Pat. We gotta get the music. Come on now. We gotta get the vibe in here. I almost forgot the music, baby.
Come on, my boy. You gotta practice.
With that said, though, Pat, I sent you this video. We were talking about it a little bit. COby White cooking in a Pro-Am. Now, again, we want to put this in perspective. No, me and Pat, before you guys get started and get to typing on your keyboards, we're not saying that this is by any means exactly what is going to mean anything to the NBA, which is a fun conversation to have about one of our Bulls players. Yeah. How do you feel about him cooking in the Pro-Am, showing a well-rounded offensive game?
I think it shows that he's continued to work on his game. His handle looks much better. He's able to get to the bucket a lot stronger. Remember, COby White was driving strong last year. Didn't he boom somebody? To finish a game or something like that? I feel like I remember a COby White poster happening. I gotta see if that happened there. But to me, I like how COby's confidence has grown over the last couple of seasons, and it feels like he's going to be that spark, right? That quick offense that, hey, we need a bucket. Let's go to COby in this situation. I hope that he can be that consistently. But like I said, Pro-Ams, listen, Hoodie Mello, P. Will in the Pro-Ams, Dalen Terry, DeMar DeRozan, none of that stuff gets me overly excited because at the end of the day, you playing against a bunch of dudes that, yes, they are talented players. Yes, there's a reason that they're there, but they're not NBA players. If COby was doing this versus like one of the best defenders in the league or something, I'd be feeling a lot better about it. I thought I saw Miles Bridges fro in that on one of them highlights, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Does Miles Bridges still have a fro currently?
I thought he did. Don't he still got the fro?
I've not seen Miles Bridges since he
went to jail. Anyway,
he avoided
it. Sidestepped that jail time, did you?
I mean, plus, it's not like it's anything unique about Miles Bridges' fro. There's a couple of people right now on the West Side that ain't brushed their hair in 4 days. They got that same fro.
Well, that's a whole different thing. He did boom somebody. Who is that? OG Anunoby? Did he boom OG Anunoby?
Now that's a little bit different.
Stanley Johnson. He boomed Stanley Johnson.
He
boomed Stanley Johnson. That fits.
Stanley Johnson strikes me as a brother who gets boomed a lot. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna go ahead.
What the heck does that
mean? But with that said, listen, it was nice to see COby with the step back taking place. It's late now, bro. You came a minute and a half late. With the
I did. But so did Zion Williamson. All right, let's go.
Anyway, well, yeah, it was just nice to see COby, get out there, get some reps in, because that's really what that comes down to. Is he's getting reps in, and you can't be mad at that. I tell you what, I'd rather him be working in Pro-Ams, even though it's not NBA level competition, than working in the gym against a chair. Like, go out there and get your reps.
Yeah, no, it's good to see him going out there and trying to find ways to implement what he's learning. I think the biggest thing for me is that, he's confident enough to go out there. And the main thing is, honestly, right? Think about this. The first 3 years that COby White was in the league, we talked about him being somebody who in the offseason was injured, hadn't had a training camp, COVID season came up, different things like that. But then on top of it, you never really saw him doing those offseason things because of recovering from the injuries. Now we're getting to see him working with dribble too much. Now we're getting to see him going out there and playing in these pro-ins, which means he's confident in where he is health-wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that get me excited heading into this season, because at a minimum, a healthy COby White coming in, being able to be there for training camp is more impactful to this team in the long run. And I think it pushes that. I think you have to have somebody to push that point guard competition that we're going to have now with like 17 point guards on our team.
I mean, we are a very guard heavy team. I don't know if we're 17.
We feel like the
guards.
Orlando Magic.
We have one real point guard on the team.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, like, we got technically Io's gonna be in that competition, Kobe's gonna be in that competition, Javon's probably at the beginning of that competition. Alex Caruso's the white guy in that competition, so he's always got a chance. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
listen, people are gonna be real upset when they realize that Javon Carter wasn't here, brought her to play point guard. He was brought here to play the 4. That's gonna be real upset.
Bro. Javon Carter at the 5. DeAndre Ayton backing him down.
Oh, man.
And get stripped.
When you look at this, like with COby, and we know that COby has said that he wants to start, that he thinks that he's at that place now where he's ready. He wasn't ready before. He feels like he's rounded out his game. He understands how to basically go out and get his and perform to be a starting level point guard. Do you think that COby will have enough growth that we are eventually talking about COby White as Chicago Bulls starting point guard again?
I think that's the goal, right? Like, the one thing that he has left to improve on is the vision. If he can improve on the vision, why wouldn't you want COby as your starting point? 6'5", short arms, but can shoot the ball well. Improving as a defender, finding a way to kind of be a vocal leader on the floor. We saw that last season where COby White wasn't afraid to talk to people. Now, it didn't end up being the most impactful thing with him coming off the bench, but right, like, if he's starting to get confident in his game, this is the guy that we always thought could be here. What we saw in the last 2 months of the season, pretty much, or not 2 months, but 2 months before the end of the season, after the new year, right? But that's what we thought we were getting when we drafted him. But he was so young. He was such a raw talent that, all you had basically when you got him was speed and some shooting. And so
even then, he had
to have him develop.
Speed while dribbling left a lot to be desired that first year, bro. I remember COby would get to it'd be like, dang, he's fast, but he left the ball. Like, do you realize you left the ball? Like,
or here's the wild part, right? And maybe this is probably too far-fetched, but I don't know if people remember. Can COby White have a De'Aaron Fox jump? I want y'all to go back where De'Aaron Fox didn't realize how fast he was, and he would be under the bucket before he was able to make a move. Very much like COby White, where the speed, he was just running full speed, but like you said, the ball just not there with him. But now that he's kind of got control of his speed, we don't talk about his speed as much. He's still probably one of the fastest dudes in the league.
Talking about COby or Fox?
COby.
Yeah, COby is definitely still one of the fastest guys in the league, but that's the thing, is like, you have to learn when and where to use your speed, right? And that may be the thing that I think that's what you're pointing to with De'Aaron Fox. That's what he learned, right? It's not just about getting the ball and taking off as fast as you can. We're not a Mike D'Antoni coach team, but it's about using that in transition, using that quick first step to get to the rim, which we did see COby do some last season. He just didn't finish around the rim a lot till the end of the season. So, we got to see those type of things with COby. I do think that COby still has that level of upside. It's just, I worry about with this version of the team if it's best suited for him to be coming off the bench. But I tell you what, if he comes in and he shows and proves it and he plays in that way, hey, if he earns a starting point guard, you can't be mad at anybody that earns anything.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I remember watching De'Aaron Fox. Was that 2017? I think he was drafted, and I was like, this kid can't play, because he would he could score, but he would just be so inefficient with it. He probably shot 38% his first few years in the league, maybe 40%. But he was
never
just
below 40%.
He was one of those inefficient players that, like, all of a sudden he reminded me of John Wall, where it was like all of a sudden he was like, hey, yo, if I just slow down a little bit, I'm still faster than 90% of y'all. And I think that that's a leap that we can see COby White make here. Now improved handle, improved offensive vision. I think that there's a real opportunity for him to be able to go out there and make a play.
Yeah, let's hope so, man. I listen, I love COby. I'm glad that he's locked in. I'm glad that we have him for 3 more years, theoretically, unless he's moved or something like that. And we'll get to see that growth here in the Bulls uniform.
That would be interesting. Jack is Truth said COby White most improved Jimmy Butler levels. I don't know about that one.
I don't know about the Jimmy Butler levels.
But I'll tell you Jimmy went from nothing to 25 real quick.
with blocking down the like, that's a player that he was getting you 16 if he goes to still locking him down.
If he goes to Jimmy Butler levels, bro, like I need y'all to understand this. This is Jimmy's first 3 seasons in the league. 2, 8, 13, 20. That's a 4th season Jimmy was here. You know what I mean?
Hey, bro, I remember that season where Jimmy Butler was averaging 20 for the first time too, because like that was still a season Derrick Rose still missed most that season, if I'm not mistaken.
He came back for the playoffs. That's the I want to say that's the LeBron game winner year.
Is that it?
I think that's the LeBron game winning year, but bro, it was so much.
But it also was the way that Jimmy was scoring, because he was scoring with so much poise that it's like you would not have thought like this dude just coming into the league couldn't even get off the bench. Like he just came out there, it's like he understood, hey, I'm about to take you off the dribble. Now what?
Wasn't that Jimmy Butler? This is such a only Bulls fan will remember this. Wasn't that when Jimmy Butler hit the game winner in preseason and we were losing our minds like it really meant something?
I don't remember preseason games, so I won't even fake like I got like
Jimmy Butler got a game winner that preseason and everybody was losing their minds, and it was like, oh snap, is he taking the next step? That's my fear as a Bulls fan. Jimmy Butler is my fear with all of these pieces that we re-signed. Just because it's like, hey, look, like if you let any of these guys go and they go on to be the next Jimmy Butler, we in trouble. So hopefully COby's able to do it here.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Shout out to COby if he's able to make that happen. But next up, we're going to talk about article on Lonzo Ball, which is the first one in a while, actually. But before we do that, just want to remind you guys that Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as Odyssey and YouTube. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. Pat, there's an article that came out. The main part of the article was talking about how the Lakers believe that Lonzo Ball's injury was caused by the shoes that he wore, which is not something rare that we haven't heard. But at the very beginning of that article, the first sentence actually is that there are some within the Chicago Bulls that privately believe that Lonzo Ball's career is over. Now, keep in mind, even AK did say at the season-ending presser that, they're planning this season that Lonzo Ball is not going to play this season, but they do expect him back in a Bulls uniform at some point. This is contradictory to that. It makes sense. I think we've known that Lonzo Ball is done. But what do you think now with the Bulls kind of officially? Do you think that makes them more apt to maybe try to throw his contract in the deal just to take advantage of it while it's on the books? Like, what do you think if the Bulls truly do now believe Ball's done, he's not coming back? Do you think that opens up some things for them that maybe they were a little bit more hesitant to try to do before?
I don't know if I believe that AK believes that. I really don't. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he understands this season is out. But when I hear, voices in the front office, I asked Courtney Cronin about this on the Chicago Bears podcast, and she said, when they say people in the front office,
there's a lot of people in front office.
It's scouts. It's people who are, and like, it's not the people that we thought, right? It's not like just John Paxson just sharpening pencils in his office and stuff like that. But it's a lot of times scouts and training staff and stuff like that are having these conversations. Wouldn't be surprised if Lonzo Ball's career is over, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Chicago Bulls get out of his contract and go, hey, Lonzo, we'll give you $1 million deal just to see if you can do this, if you can continue your career, if you can make anything happen. We can't give you long-term serious investment, but we can sit here and just see what happens, because at this point you got to chalk up your losses and hope that you can get anything out of it. And so I think Lonzo's career is probably done. I said this, they put a dead guy's knee in his knee. And so that is literally just to make him walk again so that he's good walking. It has nothing to do with him being able to run, jump, cut, dunk, none of that. If he's able to do it, I wish him nothing but the best. Those 35 games were very entertaining.
Fun times, man. Fun times.
Man, it's so crazy looking back at it, bro. I think I said this on this pod. Like, I don't get the exact feeling that I get with Derrick Rose, but it's close.
It was close.
It's close. I feel when I watch them highlights, I be like, man, that feels like when we lost Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Derrick hurt more. Derrick, of course, hurt more.
Oh, of course, Derrick hurt more.
I'll get over Lonzo. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, we had 1 year, a partial year with Lonzo, right?
Yeah.
We had years with Derrick. So, I think ultimately, when it comes down to Zoe, is this. I think the Bulls should explore because there are going to be a lot of teams looking to get underneath that tax apron. And if you have a $20 million contract, you can theoretically use if a team's willing to come off that, right? Like, I think you should explore it. I don't know if it's likely. I still think it's unlikely, but I love what you said there. If Lonzo's contract runs out, which it does at the end of next season, he's an unrestricted free agent, and he wants to attempt to come back, and the Bulls say, hey, we got slightly over the vet minimum for you. Come here. We'll give you a chance at training camp. Show us what you got. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah.
That's loyalty.
And it's one of those things where you hope for the best, and you just at that point you're just hoping, hey, please don't get hurt again. Like I'll say this, I don't believe he'll ever start again. If he does play, I don't think that he'll ever be a starting point guard in the NBA again.
The thing is, I think you have to ask yourself, right? It's like, because it's a knee, and that means that it's like, while Lonzo was never the most crazy athletic jump out the gym player, he still uses his leg to cut, run, all those things, like
defend.
Defend. And that's the thing. Like, Lonzo theoretically could always come back as a shooter for a team, but it's like, does Lonzo really want to come back and like not be able to do any of the things that made him Lonzo Ball? And then at that point, you're Seth Curry.
I mean, here's the thing, though, right? Like, Lonzo hasn't had an opportunity to have the NBA career.
Yeah. Could
he have who am I thinking of? From the Nets, broke his leg, went to the Warriors. Why can I not think of his name right now? Y'all know who I'm talking about, chat. Sean, no. I can't think of his name.
Broke his leg and went to the Warriors?
He broke his leg and he went to the Warriors. He was on the Warriors. He's one of the point guards.
He's on the Warriors now, current. Oh, you're talking about Sean Livingston.
Sean Livingston. That's what I was thinking. Sean Livingston. Could he have a Sean Livingston career? With Sean Livingston, whole career, the second half of Sean Livingston's career when he came back, entirely a different player.
Yeah, but still,
he was
even
a completely different player than
he
who
definitely
he was.
A completely different player then. The hairline was even more trash for sure. But outside of that, like, I mean, he did round out, but like, I don't know, man. Like, it's because his was his leg too, so I guess that's similar in leg injuries. But like,
a break is different than a ligament not being there. Like,
this is very true.
Bones can heal stronger than a ligament can.
I don't know, bro. Like, he did come back. He came back and played for a long time for the Warriors too. He played for like 5 years with them. So
I think he had a cup of coffee with the T-Wolves too.
I don't remember that, but I'm not saying.
I feel like it was a weird, like, in between that, it was a weird time. But yeah, man, like, I don't know what Lonzo's career is gonna be, but it won't be what we lost. It won't be what left, because his body won't allow him to be that guy.
This is true.
So I don't know, man. But hey, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Appreciate you guys for showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review, and watch out for trollops.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. And thank you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every single day. Now, with that being said, we're up out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This has been Locked On Bulls, I guess, and we're up out of here. Peace, y'all.
Peace.